Hey Ollie, how are you, man?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm fucking tired. I just woke up.
Oh yeah, what is it? Is it like 6 in the morning there?
7 in the morning here. I'm a
Oh
tattooer.
shit.
I'm usually not up for a few more hours.
Oh shit, man. Well, I appreciate you coming to hang out for a bit there.
No, man, I'm more than happy to. Ollie, I've been an Archspire fan since album one, man. So I'm fucking I would have got up at fucking 2 a.m. to do this interview, mate.
Oh, wicked, man. Well, I would have too.
Legend, man. Listen, I've got to tell you, mate, Archspire are one of my two favorite things coming out of Canada. Fucking you guys and Letterkenny.
Oh, sick.
Mate,
Oh
we've
man, that's awesome. I actually worked with I used to work in kitchens. I worked with one of the Letterkenny guys. He lived in Vancouver, and yeah, it was before he joined the show. He was a bartender at a restaurant I worked at, and he was a pretty funny dude.
yeah,
But
yeah. What
yeah,
fuck is that?
pardon me. He's he's kind of he's blonde. He's a bit shorter. I forget who he is in the show, but yeah, but
That's
yeah, yeah. Like
uh,
I've only seen like an episode of the show, so
mate.
yeah.
I've watched all. I think there's 9 or 10 seasons. We've watched a lot. Me and my mates, we bang on about it. Bloody
Nice,
Shoresy,
man. Do you
mate.
ever fuck with Trailer Park Boys?
No. I've got to. There's so much shit out there now. I think it's one of those things I've got to sit down and binge again. So
Yeah, yeah. That's a good one of our only good exports is Trailer Park Boys. Yeah.
Trailer Park Boys. I'll write it down. I'll get straight on it.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, man.
yeah. So like I said, I've been following you guys for a while. I got to see you guys in 2018 when you come out here with Psychroptic and Haddle More, and that was, I'll tell you now, that was the loudest fucking show I've ever been to. Like without an inch of that, my hearing changed after that night. So
Oh fuck.
yeah, and
Oh,
like usually when your ears ring a little bit, mate, it sound like someone was throwing a bloody car horn into my ear. So
oh shit. Well, we'll have to fire that sound guy.
it was awesome, man. But in that time, you guys have had a massive 5 years. Like, I mean, just off the top of the head, like you've been on TV a bunch. You've like you did the Jason Momoa C. I think you've turned up in a couple other things. Was it?
Yeah, I did that thing with Jason, yeah, which was pretty cool. Just hung out with him and got him to see and helped him with his performance and stuff on that, which was pretty cool. But yeah, other than that, no other TV spots, but just working on making music videos and stuff like that. So,
Yeah,
but
like
yeah,
making your heads explode, melt, and the reaction video from your mum's, man, that was next level.
yeah, I was stoked to get our moms in there for something. Metal
But
moms, dude.
one of the things I used to love watching was I used to love watching your Instagram page. You used to come up with cracking jokes and your cooking segments and all that sort of stuff.
Mhm.
But I went looking for it, and have you been cancelled, mate?
No, you know what it was is like it stopped bringing me joy because of because like at first I got a dark sense of humor and I kind of say whatever and I think a joke is a joke and that should be appreciated. But when you're playing in a band, it's like if you're a comedian, people expect it. But even I'll say stuff that if a comedian said it would be considered tame, but because I'm in a band, it's considered like the worst thing someone could say because which started to just kind of get to me after a while, and I realized that like I like pissing people off, but if it's to the point where I end up getting stuck like reading these comments, about people just going to war about a joke that I made, it sort of started to bring me down and affect how much joy I was having in making these jokes. So it's kind of like, what's the point?
Yeah.
So I just got off of it. And also like I find, on tour, like everyone in every band is always on their phone, just it's like opening up a fridge that's empty and you're opening it up 100 times a day. There's nothing to eat in them. So for me, it was like just being bored on tour, constantly checking Instagram and with no gratification. So So yeah, I just got off of it, and now when I'm on tour, I make more jokes in person, and I use my brain a bit more because I'm engaged with people, you know.
Yeah.
So, and I figure I'll just save it for the shows and just build that stuff up and use it as material when we're playing, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I've seen comments like, that was the funniest show I've ever seen, but you do a joke and then follow it up with some fucking noise.
Yeah, yeah, and it gives me a chance because for me, like the hardest part about playing is not the music; it's like the in between the songs. Because I feel like a lot of bands they'll take themselves too seriously or they'll be really awkward. And so I've always wanted to just add that humor element to let people know like we're having fun too, and you guys should have fun. And you bought a ticket to see a performance, and like we're not here to be tough and fucking, you know,
Yeah.
and cliquey, and you know, we're here to have fun. And like I'm gonna say dumb shit. Hopefully people will be like, I love that band, but the singer is a prick, or you know, or he's an idiot. Like I'll embarrass myself so people have a story to tell, you know, and that's fun for me.
Yeah, well, it'd want to be because I've seen your touring schedules like through like the States, North America, through Europe. Like I was doing a gig count. I think in one stretch you've done in a 29-day stretch you did 23 shows. In another 29-day stretch you did 25 shows, and
Yeah.
that's got to be grueling. But I think like I think forward to this upcoming tour that you've got coming down here to Australia next month in October, and you've got like you're only here for 7 days and you're banging out 6 shows.
Yeah.
First of all, you're coming to Australia for the first time in 5 years, which I'm fucking excited about,
Me
especially on
too, man.
especially on the back of this record, which I reviewed your record and I've got to thank you. I gave it a 9. And I got to thank you because you shared my review on your page. I did one.
Oh, nice.
I started it off with like I think I quoted 6 lines of a song and said, "See all that? He did that in 6.3 seconds. Try and do that without your throat exploding." So, yeah, so
Shit.
I'm
Oh,
thank you for
awesome.
that. It's a fucking awesome album. But you guys are finally coming
Thank
down,
you.
man. 5 years. That's a hell of a long time to wait.
Yeah, you know, with markets like that, it's really hard to coordinate and to make it you know, worthwhile for us. And like we want to play in every possible place we can. But you know, we're because it is a business for us now and it's our main job, it's got to make sense for us. We got to be able, you know, it's flights are fucking pricey. You know, we wanted to make sure when we came back it was going to be, you know, well received and luckily, you know, Dave from Psychroptic is the one bringing us back
Mm,
with his booking team.
yep.
So which is really cool. And I think that now that we have this album, that we haven't played any of those songs in Australia, it just seemed like a really good time to come back. And I mean, Australia was the place I would probably move to if I didn't live in Vancouver. Like I love it.
Yeah.
I went there for Christmas with my girlfriend, and because she's from Australia, and I love everything about it. So for me, it was instantly like, yeah, let's go back as soon as we can. And luckily, we made it work this time, and we tacked on Japan. So yeah, really looking forward to it. And the weather here is going to be shit, you know. So like, we get to go have some nice weather, and yeah, hang out with some crazy Aussies. It'll be fucking sweet.
Mate, the weather is just starting to shape up. Like I said, it's first thing in the morning. The sun's right there. I'm just looking out, and like I said, you guys are bringing Ingested with you,
Yeah,
and fuck their album last year. That was a cracker. That was one of my top tens for last year, I think. So,
yeah,
and
that was a killer album. We just met them. We played some festivals in Europe, and they played a festival with us.
yep,
So we got where they played some off shows with us, I think. So we got to actually meet them and hang out, and we just clicked right away. They're good English blokes. So and just same sense of humor and just really cool guys. So we were like, oh, sick! Australia's gonna be even better now. These guys are
yeah,
awesome.
cool. And also, you got the werewolf shirt on. I see. So
Yeah, yeah,
that'll be the other support. We've been listening to them, and they're very, very, very good.
yeah. They're awesome. I mean, I'm a big fan of everything that Dave does. You know, is just killer. So you
Oh,
know, he's
Psychroptic and Killer. They got a show coming up. I think I'm seeing them this Friday. They're supporting cattle decapitation.
oh, sick.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Our sound guy is doing cattle decap sound. So if the sound is bad, let me know and I'll fire him. Yeah.
I'll let you know.
Yeah, let me know either way. But
But
yeah, those guys, those guys are a great time to hang out with for sure.
yeah, also they're one of my favorite Aussie bands, hands down. So, um, but the other thing is like it has been a couple of years since Bleed the Future. I've got to ask, like, even though you are absolutely smashing this tour around the world, is there any chance of new music in the near future?
We're trying really hard, like we're writing right now. But we're trying to cram some more riffs, get some more riffs written before we leave for Australia. And it's just such a hard balance for us to make because we need to do the tours so we can live, but we know that people that like us are waiting for more material. Like 2 years is a while. And it takes us so long to write because we write everything from scratch all together in one room. So nobody just comes in with like, oh, I got these two riffs, and we all learn them. Someone comes in with half of a riff and we tell them it sucks and we rework it. So like, we'll jam for a week and we'll have like two riffs because we throw so much stuff in the garbage. Like we have probably, 10 albums worth of shit that we've thrown away since we've started because we just, and whether that's being overly picky or not, like we just want every riff that we play for every person in the band to really like it, so that no one's playing something that they're just like forced to play. So with that being said, it makes the process take way longer.
Yeah.
But we're trying really hard to get the next album out as soon as we can. So, when we get back from Australia, we're gonna buckle down for, a good chunk of time and just try to bang it out. So, but no definitive date yet
No,
for the album. But
it's just good to know that you're doing that. You're working on stuff. That makes me happy. But also, I bet there'd be musicians out there who'd love to go digging through your garbage for some of them riffs because some of the stuff.
yeah, I don't know. Some of them are pretty bad, dude. But yeah.
But all the stuff you do is like super technical, but really, really, I love your music, obviously. But like I said, you've been touring your ass off, especially in the wake of COVID. I've been noticing a lot of bands. They're like when traditionally, like a band would come to Australia and they do like 5 shows in 12 days, and they see the sights, but that's not happening anymore. Like I see guys, they're here for 3 days and they fuck off. So. How are you
Yeah.
finding touring in the wake of COVID, especially with the rising cost of touring?
It varies so much from region to region. But there's all the online complaints from bands of how expensive it is now, and which is true. But like for us, we saw a really huge increase in ticket sales after COVID.
Mm,
Because there was that big need for people to go back and to play shows. And we were lucky enough to have recorded an album during COVID. So we had new material to come out on the road with, where
yeah,
a lot of bands didn't get to record new stuff. So they'd already finished the tour cycle of their last album, touring, so people had already heard that album. And then when COVID, people got to go back out to shows, all they had to bring back out on the road was their old album that people had already kind of exhausted. So I think the timing for us worked out really well, and we had new material right when everything was opening back up, and sort of rode that train. So it worked for us, but also I think a lot of bands don't really micromanage their overhead. They don't nitpick like, can you have full color shirts printed on both sides for every shirt design because that's going to lose this amount of money. You need a black and white shirt to kind of balance out your per dollar per unit amount of profit, right? Yeah, and people
yeah,
like them. How much extra money are you spending on things you don't need? If you get a rider to make yourself feel cooler, that's costing you way more than going to Walmart and buying fucking some bottled water yourself, right? So
absolutely.
I think there's smart ways to do it. They're not as glamorous. And I think a lot of bands, middle range bands also, they'll go on tours with bigger bands, so their guarantees aren't as big. Their overhead is really expensive, and then they don't make money, and they're like, oh, it's because of the COVID and because touring's really expensive. I think if you go out and you do your own headlining tour, even if you're a small band, then you can make it work. You can live off of it, and it's just not as glamorous. Not as many people show up, but they're all there to see you. They all buy your shirts. So I think for us that's worked because we built that up. But
Yeah,
but a lot of bands are like, oh, we get to tour with Cannibal Corpse, but maybe they're making nothing per night. So they
yeah.
get the glory of saying they're on a tour with a band, but they're not making the actual profit to make it sustainable, if that makes sense.
They finish up broke. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. But I think you're also selling more tickets because the word's getting out, man. Like I remember hearing about you guys from Utopia Records here in Sydney, and went and grabbed the album, and that was it. So, but like I said, your fan base has obviously grown in that 5 years. Is there any venues now? You're doing larger venues now. Is there any venues where you like pinch yourself, like where you were standing there going, "Fuck, I can't believe I'm playing in this auditorium or this arena"?
Yeah, I mean, like just doing those. We just finished doing some summer festivals in Europe, which is going from a few hundred people to thousands of people, and that, it's like you get so used to touring, and every job you have, you're going to find the things that are annoying about it and that you complain about. But I definitely would take a step back every once in a while and be like, this is fucking sick. Like what, like you complain about like a shitty meal, and then you go out on stage and there's like that many people that listen to you talk about how fucking saggy your balls are or whatever. Like, so I think, it's about perspective. And like that's been kind of the festivals were a moment where I was like, this is really cool. And I never expected really, for me personally, to get to that level where I have the attention of that many people, no matter how stupid what I say is. That's a good feeling.
No worries, man. Well, mate, you'll see me running around in the pit for sure. I can't wait to see you guys. You're only here in a month. Thanks for your time, Ollie. And
Yeah, man. I look forward to meeting you at the show, dude.
dude, absolutely, I'll be there. Thanks, legend.
Awesome, man. Yeah,
See
good talking, dude.
ya. Yeah,
Cheers.
no, thanks, Ollie. Fucking legend.